Welcome to the Page Turner Adventures Creative Literacy Program, filled with crafts and activities that get kids excited about books and reading. This is a Native American Kachina doll from the Hopi tribe. And Kachina dolls represent Hopi deities, and there are all different kinds of kachinas. This particular one is called Sunface. And most of the kachinas have some sort of a mask that they wear. So we're gonna make a little mask for our doll. But the base of it, I don't know if you can tell what it is, but it's actually a toilet paper tube that we're going to cut. So that's what you need. You need a toilet paper tube. Love them. You're gonna need some paint. You're going to need some white paper, scissors, some markers, some Scotch tape, and some feathers to make this particular one. And again, you can make any kind you want. You can research what different kinds of kachinas there are, or just make up your own. So I'm going to actually take my toilet paper tube and I'm going to put it on my white paper. And I'm going to trace the toilet paper tube with a black marker. Okay, my toilet paper tube wasn't totally round. It was a little squished, so it came out a little crazy. But that's okay because this is going to be our mask. We're going to cut this out anyway, so it doesn't matter if it's exactly perfect. So I'm just going to kind of go around that. And now I'm going to set this to the side, and we're going to worry about this later. I just wanted to use the toilet paper tube before I cut it. So I'm going to take my toilet paper tube, and I'm going to draw some lines on it so I know where to cut. From about 1/3 of the way up, I'm going to draw a line straight down, and then on the exact opposite side, I'm going to draw another line about the same distance. From these lines, I'm going to draw horizontal lines, but I don't want them to touch. I want to leave a little bit of space right here, and you'll see why in just a minute. Okay, now I'm going to draw the head. So again, about 1/3 of the way up, I'm going to draw a circle, and don't worry about the marker on here because we're going to paint this. Okay, so the head is going to be over this the straight line that I drew down. This is where the head is going to be because that's going to be the front of our body. Now from the head, I'm going to draw a line from the neck actually. I'm going to draw a line all the way around the toilet paper tube. So here we go. So you see those lines? So it's that line straight down, the head right over here, leaving that space there, and drawing the line all the way around. And now we're going to cut it. I am going to cut up this front line, and then this part gets a little tricky. I'm going to cut this line right here. Same thing over here. Same thing back here. Do not cut those pieces off. You're going to use those to make the legs. Okay, so do you see how that is? It's cut right there. So that's what it should look like. Okay, now before we do anything with that, we're going to cut out the head. So I'm going to just follow these lines. Okay, so there's the head. Now, I understand that this is actually something that can be really difficult for kids, especially young kids, to do. So they're going to need help with this part, especially the cutting part. But it's something that you can actually make beforehand, and then they can just decorate them if you'd like. The next step is going to be to make the legs. So I'm going to take this part here, and we're going to roll it. I'm just going to roll it in, and then roll this part around. Did you see that? That becomes the leg. And now I just need a little piece of Scotch tape. I'm going to make it a little bit wider so it has something to really stand on. Okay, another piece of tape. Okay, so you see that leg? That's what this piece is going to be again. I'm going to roll this to make that leg. So we have 2 legs, we have a head. There's one more thing that we need. This one has arms. So I'm actually going to, you can draw a line here and follow the line, but I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it. I'm going to snip about 1/2 inch down, and now I'm going to snip across right about to the neck. Well, there we go, there's some arms. I'm gonna make his arms a little bit shorter. So there we have our base for our doll. Now, we're making Hopi Kachina dolls now, but really this can be a base for anything. And again, I understand that that can be a little complicated for kids to make, or a little bit, it does take some dexterity. So this is a really nice project to do with young to older kids. For younger kids, you're going to want to make the base and then let them just paint and decorate it. Older kids really can do this themselves though. So it's one of those things that you can do with upper elementary, even into middle school. This would be an interesting project for like a social studies program. So here we have our base. The next step is going to be to paint it. So I have some red paint here. And the other thing that I really like about toilet paper tubes is they paint so nicely and they dry very quickly. So there we have our base. So I'm going to set him aside to just finish drying, which should just be about 5 minutes or so. And while that's drying, I'm going to finish up the mask, and also I'm going to make a little loincloth right there. So I'm going to do that while this guy is drying. So I have my circle that I started, and I'm going to cut that out. And I'm going to cut on the outside edge of this because I want this mask to be nice and big. And now I'm also going to cut a little strip for my loincloth. Okay, so we're going to make the sun face character. Again, you can make any Kachina you want or make up your own, but we're going to stick with this one for right now. So he's got that blue face with the yellow and orange and this very dark black outline, and then the black eyes and nose. So darken up that outline a little bit. Rectangular looking eyes, triangle nose. And now I'm going to color it in. There we have sun face, but we also need some feathers. So I'm going to take some glue, which I think I forgot to mention in the materials, but you do need some school glue, white glue. And I'm going to take some feathers, and I'm going to snip my feathers. And I'm just going to glue the feathers onto the back of the mask. All right, he's looking good. So we're going to set this part to the side to dry just a little bit while we work on our little loincloth. So now this is just about dry, and we're going to attach our mask. So I'm going to put a little glue on the face. So there's my Hopi Kachina doll. Now there's one more step that you can take if you'd like. This one I actually put on a base. So that's up to you, it's optional. Sometimes they will stand if you do it right. That one's not standing, so I'm going to give him a base. And the base that I'm going to use is one of these styrofoam fruit trays or meat trays. And I'm just gonna cut a little oval. And you can use regular glue to do this, or you can use hot glue. Obviously you're not going to have the kids use hot glue, but if you want to attach it for them, you can use some hot glue. And there you go. Hopi Kachina dolls. For more great crafts and activities, visit our blog at pageturneradventures.com.